Hey guys, Randy Troy here. This is going to be a speculation video. All right, sort of a theory type thing. We're going to talk about Kaizukugari no Zoro. This video is going to be basically all about Zoro. If you've been following the channel for a little bit, you know that, on the scale of crew members, I'm more of a Sanji guy than a Zoro guy, but I do love me some Zoro, and I think that he's had some excellent moments across the series. But what this video is going to talk about is the future of Zoro. Where does Zoro go from here? Where do I think the story is going to go? And what do I think is going to be that, defining post-Timeskip moment for Zoro to shine in, the near future? So, Zoro's role in the crew, we know it. Vice captain, swordsman. And we've seen him step up plenty of times and put Luffy in his place. Most of those times were pre-Timeskip. I'm talking about, situations like in Water 7, the arc where Luffy, really started to fall into his role as captain. You have situations like Usopp leaving and then Usopp coming back, and Luffy saying that the weight of all of this is heavy, and Zoro's got to be the one to check him and be like, well, that's what being a captain is like, and then when he's ready to let Usopp back in, he's like, oh, hold on, buddy, hey, whoa, this man disrespected you, you're just gonna wipe that away? No, this man needs to apologize. Okay, I can't follow someone that is going to just let everybody walk all over them. And as we've seen across the series, every time someone meets Zoro, they think he's the captain. It was a big joke in Whiskey Peak, but it has happened all across the board. Even, a bunch of the Supernova, when they meet Zoro, they're just like, how does this guy follow him? This guy doesn't look like a guy who, follows anybody. And it's true. Zoro's got his own goals, he's got his own ambitions. And any time that Luffy's ambitions get in the way of that, that's when him and Luffy are going to have a problem. Now we see in Thriller Bark, that Zoro puts that aside when he's up against Kuma, and he has that epic moment, one of the greatest Zoro moments, if not the greatest Zoro moment in the series, with the, nothing happened. That he was willing to give it all up for Luffy. That's how much he believed in him. So, and then when everything happens in Sabaody, he prostrates himself in front of Mihawk, the man that he wants to defeat, so that he can get stronger for Luffy. So, when we have situations post-Timeskip, like in Punk Hazard, where Luffy slips up against Caesar, and there's epic moment where Zoro, chews him out. Dude, this isn't a game anymore. We're in the new world now. You need to get your shit together. And Luffy's like, yeah.
Savage.
And that's all well and good, and they have the whole thing with, Indris Rosa, and then, they go to Zoe, and then Sanji does his whole selfish excursion to Whole Cake, and Zoro's got choice words for that. And that was the first time, other than that Punk Hazard moment, where Zoro, really stepped into that vice captain role and was just like, whoa, you should leave him. He made his own choice. He wants to go over there, then, that's fine. But, we're going up against Kaido, who's already a huge threat. We don't need to go over here and start messing with Big Mom, because otherwise we're going to be dealing with two emperors at the same time. We can do without Sanji. We need to focus on other things, because we already have skin in this game. Don't go messing around over here. But Luffy, hey, he's not going to leave Sanji alone. So he lets Zoro take everybody to Wano. He goes over to Whole Cake, and what happens? Nah, it's a whole mess. Whole Cake was a mess. Someone that they brought along to help them, Pedro, died. That's Sanji's fault.
Savage.
Big Mom got mad at Luffy. Now she's in Wano. Exactly what Zoro didn't want to happen has happened. And that's not only Sanji's fault, but it's also Luffy's fault. Luffy goes up against Kaido, he loses. Okay? Zoro's big thing, he made a promise to himself and Barati that he will never lose again. So he does not want to be put into a position at any moment where he and his team will lose again. Otherwise, what were those 2 years for? So my big speculation is, and it's a speculation widespread throughout the community, it's not something I'm, positing for the first time here, but that the raid on Onigashima is going to fail. It's going to be a Sabaody Marineford level L across the board for the Alliance, for the Straw Hats, etc. I think that Luffy is going to get impelled down level hurt. Like when Magellan really messed him up and needed Ivankov to take 10 years away from his life just to heal him, which will give Zoro the opportunity to actually step in the same way that Sanji had his moment where he took the crew and, had the curly hat pirates or the swirly hat pirates, which was a lot of fun. I think that in a dramatic fashion, we're going to get the Haramaki pirates or the Marimo pirates, the pirate hunter pirates. But Zoro's going to have to, deal with the fact that Luffy is incapacitated. He is lost. And maybe he'll even, have a clash with Kaido, maybe a clash with Big Mom, where, he realizes that, if this goes any further, he's going to break his promise and he's going to lose. And that might make him angry. And we haven't had the moment of breath for Zoro to really understand the level of disrespect that Sanji, had towards Luffy. And even though Luffy accepted him back, I feel like, if Zoro was a part of Whole Cake, that whole situation would have gone way differently. But I think that there is, and I honestly hope that something like this happens, because we haven't had those dramatic pause moments that we had in Water 7 and Marineford and Sabaody yet. There's been little sprinkles of it, but nothing to the level of anything pre-Timeskip. And I think that that's what this is, that people are going to die. It's going to be, in some respect, it could be Luffy's fault. Some of it may even be Sanji's fault if Big Mom is involved. The only reason Big Mom is here is because of both of them. So Zoro's going to have some choice words. I don't necessarily think that he's going to leave the crew, even though he has said that I'll leave the crew if, XYZ happens. But I think that there's a major falling out between Zoro and Sanji that is on the horizon, and even with Luffy for, wasting those 2 years because he wasn't strong enough to take on an emperor, or being too reckless, which may lead to a time skip of just a few months where everybody starts training again. Because as far as I'm concerned right now, nobody has what it takes to go up against Kaido, to go up against Big Mom, to go up against Shanks, go up against Blackbeard or any of his crew members. I mean, maybe some of his crew members, but the whole crew needs to learn hockey. Jeez, And yes, there's the 20-year prophecy, but we still have time on those 20 years. Everything post-Timeskip has been about 3, maybe 4 months. And, Kinemon and all those guys have been in the future for just about the same amount of time. So that gives us about, anywhere from 7 to 9 months that we could have a time skip where we're at the very end of that 20-year mark. You know, it's December of whatever, year that is, and, we're technically in, say, April. And everybody's ready to take everybody on. Luffy masters Rio, Zoro masters it. I fully expect before the end of the series, and maybe even in this arc, for Zoro to unlock his Conqueror's Haki. And it's possible that he's even already unlocked it. That clash that he had with Monet and Punk Hazard, I think that we're going to be able to go back to that moment in the same way that, like, going back to the Mr. One fight and seeing that Zoro is not only, using armament Haki to take out Mr. One, but he's also using observation and the principles of Rio. Like, all of Haki, like, wrapped in one. It's, like, all in that fight if you go back to it. To the point where they even quote the words that Zoro's saying, like, Grandpa Hyo, like, uses them. I see a scenario where Zoro's leading the crew for a certain amount of time while Luffy either recovers, while he's training. Maybe they go to a different island, and, Zoro is, the Luffy to this, like, Impel Down arc where, not that they're in a prison or anything, but the way that, like, it was just about Luffy. Here it'll just be about Zoro and the crew. In a similar vein, the Thriller Bark was less about Luffy and more about the crew. I think that that's something that's going to happen. So, those are my, my main big thoughts. Everybody wants Zoro to fight King. Oda is always switching things up. Don't be surprised if Zoro fights Queen. I expect Sanji to fight Who's Who. But I also expect every, like, skirmish in Wano to be very Marineford-like. Very cameo, very side panel-ish, all this kind of stuff, and just kind of mesh into one big cluster. So I just want everybody to be prepared for some serious drama in the future if Oda's got the guts to dive back into that. And I think he does. And I think there's going to be some serious major deaths coming very soon. That does it for me, guys. I just wanted to, posit a sort of scenario where, maybe in the comments we start talking about what an arc where Zoro is leading the crew would look like. So I got a great comment from user Bobby Gregg. That's, that his theory was, what if Big Mom takes the souls of the Straw Hats? And that got me thinking. I was like, well, what if she takes, all of the Alliance, everything like that, and, like, that would become the Sabaody Marineford level moment I've been waiting for the entire time skip. That would be the reason that all of this fails. She could leave, she'd go to Elbaf, then the story becomes we gotta chase Big Mom, because just like in Thriller Bark with the shadows, now there's a time crunch. Like, oh, wait, how much time do we have? Are some people dead because they had less life force than everyone else, like, say, Luffy, who has been giving his life force away, in Impel Down at Marineford every time he used Gear Second? If you like this, please subscribe, like, comment. There's chapter reviews, and I've been Randy Troy. Thanks for watching.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.